Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? Today I'd like to talk about house rules and keeping them straight. Now this whole discussion was prompted by a question I got from one of my subscribers. And the guy's from Brazil, and I always butcher his name, and so I think it might be Eduardo Fijo, but I probably got it wrong again. So dude, if you're listening, please send me a video or audio recording of your name so I stop butchering it. Because you ask good questions and I like answering them. But like I said, the question he pretty much asked was, gee, you have a lot of house rules, Ivan. How do you keep these straight? Now, first thing is, I don't have as many house rules as you think I do. People have been house ruling the older versions of D&D ever since the game came out, so it's not all that uncommon to have, a bunch of house rules in any given game, or rules you decide you just didn't want to use or modify. And when you go to somebody's house for the first time and you're playing an older D&D game, one of the first things you say after hello is, what are your house rules? And the guy will say a bunch of stuff. And, saying things like, gee, we don't use weapons versus armor class or speed factor and cleric's free cast. It's a little bit like going to a poker game and somebody say, okay, well, aces are high, one-eyed jacks and suicide kings are wild in this hand. These are things that people just understand and are able to remember and know. So that, that to me is part of like how you handle house rules. However, I have like little handouts that I've made for my players that kind of explain like how a bunch of the different house rules work and how the game works in general. I have things if somebody's going to play a thief. I have a little handout for a thief that has his whole experience tables, his attack bonus, how his saves go, etc. And if there's anything extra, like I give them a bonus to armor class altogether. Same thing for the fighter. I might have the fighter sheet include the fact that they're going to get a bonus to hit points for the first 9 levels, and you're going to get a specialized weapon X number of levels, that sort of thing. So these are available to the players. Now I've been kind of toying around with the idea of just making a PDF of like not only all my house rule changes, but just pretty much how the game works. I don't want to make another retro clone, that's not what I'm after, but just a handout that I can give to players so they understand how the entire game works. Because to be honest, a lot of my players have either never played the older D&D at all, never played RPGs at all, or just are used to like completely different RPGs. So they need to kind of know like what's going on. I've told them, but the idea that I can give them a handout kind of appeals to me. The other thing I do is I tend to tack on all the rule changes I've made onto my vintage first edition Dungeon Master screen. And kind of covered up things like psionic tables, for example. But I've been wanting to make my own, so I'm going to go out and buy the cardboard and actually print stuff out and make a DM screen that has all my stuff on it. And this would include things like gee, I'm not using the to hit tables anymore because I'm using attack bonus. So I'd have a little section just for what the attack bonuses are for the monsters and for the classes at different points. I'd mess with the saves just a little bit in terms of the Dragon 80 type tables and parsing out save improvements as you go. So that would end up showing up on there. Everything else that would go on the original DM table would go there, like assassination tables, thief skills, turning on dead, and a bunch of things that like are on the original DM screen because I use like say D6 morale and D6 reaction tables from basic. So I'd throw that kind of stuff up on there. Any kind of critical hits rules I decide to put on there. And even things like the percentage chances of various mechanics, because I know what these things are, but if I'm making a call on the fly, I'd like to be able to just kind of double check and look that I'm giving somebody, what I think I'm giving them in terms of a chance to succeed. And also just throwing a bunch of stuff on there like all the various racial skills, how do elves find secret doors, what are listening at doors for everybody, what hit dice can hit what magic creature, grenade-like missiles, those are on the original table already. Any kind of penalties for wearing armor for thieves or for magic users if I decide to put those things up there. Thieves climbing tables, poison tables, all that sort of thing. And just any other house rules I would have up there. And a lot of those things are things that players don't need to know. Those are things that I need to know and reference. I have them available to me now, and it's a little bit messy because they're all just tacked to the DM screen. So I could have kind of put it up there that way. But that's pretty much what I do. I make things available to the players right after the bat. There's not a lot of changes for the most part, so I tack them on the DM screen and I'm going to make my own. And for the rest of it, there's a lot of just some rules that have been cut, but there's a lot of rules that I just kind of know because I've been doing this for a long time. So that's pretty much how I handle my house rules. There's not a lot of them, but the ones I have, I make sure they're crystal clear and available to people all the time. And that's how I handle it. Hope it helped.